Yes, everyone. How are you all? I hope everyone is doing absolutely fine. As your exam is very much close, in this video, I just want to give you some important clarification about exam, which will definitely help you in your exam in the best possible way. हालांकि बहुत छोटी छोटी बातें हैं ये इज अ वेरी स्मॉल थिंग बट बिलीव मी इट विल मेक ए बिग डिफरेंस इन योर मार्क्स एंड योर एग्जाम रिजल्ट therefore don't try to ignore it, don't skip the video. मैं आपसे वादा करता हूं अगर आप इसको फॉलो करते हो this will really help you to increase your marks in exam result. But before we start, if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe the channel. Do like this video and share this video with all your friends. Let us start. The first point, which is very important, use of short form or abbreviation. A very important doubt. Of course you can use it. Of course you can use all the short form, all the abbreviation which are standard one and which are used by ICI in their study material. For example, PP, property, plant and equipment, SBP, share based payment, SAR, stock appreciation right, EPS, earning per share, FBTOCI, fair value through other comprehensive income, FBTPI, fair value through PL, fair value less cost to sell, FBCS, and so on. Means any short form, any abbreviation which is standard one, which is known to everyone, which are used by ICI in their study matter, can be used in your exam. But what is my suggestion? If you are using that short form for the first time, first write down the full form once in your answer paper. Got this point? एक बार उसका full form लिख दो, ब्रैकेट में लिख दो उसका short form और फिर आप उसको यूज कर सकते हो. ये मेरा सजेशन है. But don't try to use any self-made abbreviation which is not known to anyone. For example, CA. अब CA means Chartered Accountant की current asset. Lot of doubt is there. TR, trade receivable. TP, trade payable. These are self-made abbreviation. I will say try to avoid this, which may impact your marks if you are using it. Got this point? So don't try to use the self-made abbreviation. This is my suggestion. Point number 2, rounding off the figure in lakhs, millions or in thousands. Whether we are allowed to do that? Yes, of course, you are allowed to do that in your answer paper. But whenever you are doing that, make sure that you are writing on the top clearly whatever figure you are rounding up and in which unit. If you are rounding up in lakhs, write down rupees in lakhs. If you are rounding in thousand, write down rupees in thousand. My one suggestion that if the question the figures are like that 92 lakh 45,627, then my suggestion is that write down the full figure, don't do rounding off. If the figures are 90 lakh 20 lakh 50 lakh 70 lakh, then of course you can do rounding off in thousand, in lakhs or million as per your choice, as per your comfort. But in any answer, don't mix. Don't write down some amount in full figure, some amount in lakhs, some amount in thousand. That is not at all advisable. Got this point? I have seen students use 92L, 95L, 90K. It is actually not at all advisable. Don't do that. Your marks can be deducted because of that reason. Got this point? Once again I said, of course you can do rounding off of any figure, but whatever unit you are using, make sure that all figures are rounding off in that unit only. Got this point? Yes sir, correct. Point number 3, discounting factor. Very important, because discounting factor will be normally used in all questions of FR. Normally it will be used. Now, the discounting factor is given in the question. अगर discounting factor आपको दिया हुआ है, जो भी दिया हुआ है, जैसा भी दिया हुआ है, उसको वैसे यूज करो. Discounting factor is given 2 decimal, use 2 decimal. If it is given 3 decimal, use 3 decimal. You can't change the discounting factor whatever is given in the question. अगर discounting factor गलत दिया हुआ है, तो जो गलत दिया हुआ, that only you use it. If the discounting factor is not given correctly in the question, use whatever discounting factor is given in the question. You can't change the discounting factor whatever is given in the question. Got this point? If suppose discounting factor is not given in the question, then you can use it as per your calculation. Means of course then you know how to calculate discounting factor. Now the question is that up to what decimal we should write down discounting factor. I will say use 3 decimal or 4 decimal. But what you should do, if you are writing 3 decimal, you should multiply with 3 decimal only. If you are writing 4 decimal, you should multiply with 4 decimal. What I have seen that student write down 3 decimal, but in calculator this entire decimal they will multiply with that. That is not advisable. If you are writing 3 decimal for any discounting factor, once again I am repeating it, multiply with 3 decimal. If you are adding 4 decimal, multiply with 4 decimal. If you are adding 5 decimal, write down 5 decimal but multiply with 5 decimal. Got this point clear? Once again I will say, whatever discounting factor given the question, use that. If not given the question, you can use 3 decimal, 4 decimal as per my suggestion. However, you can also use 5, 6 of your choice, but whatever you are writing, multiply the amount with that decimal discounting factor only. Got this point? Point number 4, working note. A working note is damn important for any answer. Even though answer is very simple, working note have the marks. Even though your final answer is wrong, you'll get marks for correct working note. Don't avoid working note. Working note is very important for any type of question, whether it is a consolidation question or a simple question of 4 marks. Working note is required. Don't try to avoid working note. In simple word I will say, you'll get step marking for correct working note. If your working note is correct, you are getting marks even though your final answer is wrong. Got this point? Point number 5, order of attempting question. Believe me, there is no order for attempting the question. You can attempt any question of your choice. My suggestion, start with the question in which you are very confident. Don't start with the toughest question of the question paper. Of course, you can attempt in any order. Means you can start with 2A, then go to 3B, then go to 4C, and then come back to 2C if you want. Understood? My suggestion that whenever you are starting any new question, start with a new page, and whenever you are writing question number, write down the question number clearly at the top of the page, in the middle, at the top of the page, in the middle, in a box, just like this. I have just taken one example. You can see I have written question number 2A and then write down your answer like this. Understood? Got this point? Point number 6, can we draw analysis question or timeline to understand question? Yes, of course you can do that. You are allowed to draw timeline to understand the question, but what is my suggestion? Don't waste your time in drawing timeline only. Means once you read the question, by that time you should draw the timeline. Don't take extra time. Don't take much time to draw analysis only. Got this point? How to do that? One example, just like this. Write down question number 2A. After that, draw timeline in a box so that your examiner can understand this is only to understand this particular point. Believe me, no one will deduct marks for this, and of course no one will give any extra marks for this. Understood? Point number 7, neatness. Don't be scared. Neatness does not mean you are supposed to have good handwriting. Believe me, if you have average handwriting or below average handwriting, it is sufficient to become chartered accountant. Right now, don't focus on improving your handwriting. Focus on your preparation. Focus on your studies. Neatness means what? Neatness means whatever you are writing, it should be in a presentable way. It should be understood by the others, means examiners, so that they can give you marks easily. Got this point? Means use proper format, underline the keywords, and leave space wherever required. I'll just give you one example how you can write down in a proper way. For example, you are drawing balance sheet. So after each line item, leave one space. Why to leave space? Just try to understand what I just want to inform you. For example, after PP, I have left one space, one line. After goodwill, I have left one line. Why? Suppose at one point of time you realize that this 2 like is not correct, so just don't overwrite it. Just what you should do, just cut it by giving one line, neatness, and write down above it, it is 3 lakh, the correct amount. Understood? Can you see it is presentable? Anyone can understand what you want to write, but what I have seen students, what they do, they overwrite. They will just overwrite 3 lakh, they will make it 6 lakh. And can I say it is quite possible that someone is not able to understand what you have written, and because of that reason your marks may be deducted. Avoid this. Got this point? Next point is time management. Very important. You need to understand one fact. What is the requirement to become CA? To get 50% in aggregate. It means just try to understand, if you want to get 50% marks in each paper, there is only one rule. Complete entire question paper. There is only one rule. if you write 100 mark paper, you will easily get 50% or more than 50% mark. Just try to understand, writing full marks paper is more important than getting perfection in one question. That you need to understand the fact. It means management of time is very important. But how to manage that time? I'll give you the rule for managing time. What I have used in my examination days, the same rule I will give you how to manage time. What you should do, you should divide the entire 3 hours in minutes. Means you have 180 minutes. How many minutes you have? 180 minutes. From 180 minutes, you need to make a provision of 20 minutes. This 20-minute provision is for the worst question. Suppose you have one question which is mandatory question which require more time. For that you have created a provision, and of course for revision at the end. Got this point? So make a provision for 20 minutes means you have only 160 minutes. Means in your mind you should have not 180 minutes, you should have 160 minutes. Now out of 160 minutes, allocate maximum 40 minutes for multiple choice question. Now I'm not saying when to attempt MCQ. That is your choice. You can attempt MCQ at the beginning or at the end or at the mid of the question, at the mid of the time. That is your choice. But you should give only 40 minutes in maximum to multiple choice question. Got this point? Then coming to descriptive, the balance is 120 minutes. Now 120 minutes is for 70 marks, means for 1 marks you have 1.70 minutes. For 1 marks you have 1.70 minutes. It means a question of 14 marks you have only 24 minutes. That you should have in your mind. A question of 10 marks you have 70 minutes. A question of 6 marks you have only 10 minutes. That you should have in your mind. Means if you are attempting any question of 6 marks, you should just target only 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes. For abnormal question, already we have created a provision of 20 minutes. That you need to understand. Got this point? If you do in this way, believe me, you can complete entire question paper in time. Once again, I will say, even if you don't know any question fully, you should attempt it. Don't leave it. If you are writing 100 marks question paper, easily you will get more than 50%. Understood? If you are writing 80%, of course you can pass, but in that case, perfection is required to get more than 50, because in that one question or two questions you should be perfect enough to score full marks. Understood? I hope this entire whatever I have said will help you. Last reminder, don't panic even though the question paper is tough. If the question paper is tough to you, it is tough to everyone. In that case, believe me, you need to only attempt whatever you know, and even though you don't know, attempt it. Got this point? Others are not attempting. You should attempt in that case. Rule is what? Question paper is tough, checking will be easy. Question paper is easy, checking will be hard. This you need to also understand. Don't panic in any situation. Stay calm, trust yourself, believe in yourself. Believe me, the examiner are there to give you marks. Examiner are there to make you chartered accountant. So you need to only write whatever you know. Even if you don't know, write down and come. You'll get marks. Some marks you'll get. Okay. All the best for your preparation. I think whatever we have discussed, that will add to your marks, 5 marks or 10 marks. That will definitely help you in increasing your marks. Got this point? All the best for your preparation. Examination is coming nearby. My best wishes will be always with you. Love you all. Bye bye.